Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Q2 FY21 earnings call of MSTC Limited, hosted by Equirus Securities. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star, then 0 on your touch-tone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Rushabh Shah from Equirus Securities. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Bilal, and good afternoon to everyone on the call. On behalf of Equirus Securities, I would like to welcome you all to the Q2 FY21 earnings conference call of MSTC Limited. From the company, we have with us key senior management team, including Mr. Surinder Kumar Gupta, Chairman and Managing Director, Mr. Subrata Sarkar, Chief Financial Officer and Director Finance, and Ajay Kumar Rai, Company Secretary and Compliance Officer. So without wasting any time, I would like to hand over the call to the management team for their opening remarks, and then we can open the floor for Q&A. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. You are able to listen clearly, I hope. You see, the company's business has picked up in second quarter as compared to the first quarter because of the COVID impact. The results, the comparison between the first quarter and second quarter is very prominent, but nevertheless, we are still slightly away from the first quarter results for the last year, 1920. But in the second quarter also, we could not exceed the first quarter of 1920 or at least equal because of the effect of COVID-19 only. So the month of, let us say, April, May, June was almost total washout. July was also very weak for us, but the things started improving from the August onward only. So September was basically the full month of operation, where we have, if we have a comparison, see the comparison of month to month, so September we did much better as compared to September of the last year. Similarly, the similar trend is being watched in the October also. So we are hoping that whatever shortfall was there in the year 19, in the first quarter, we will be making all efforts, and we are hopeful that we will be making good the shortfall. This is as far as your parent company MSTC is concerned. Regarding our subsidiary FSNL, there also the story was similar. Their operations were affected as the operations of steel plant also. So there also the green shoots are visible, and they also have performed much better in the second quarter, and we are hopeful that that performance will be repeated in the third quarter and fourth quarter also. Regarding our joint venture company MMRPL, so it was basically the losses in the last year, but now as far as the current, if we talk about the second quarter, it is almost on the verge of making profit. So we are able to basically more or less recover the operation cost, and could be in the third quarter our results of the joint venture company, there will be a token minor profit we are expecting as the trends we are getting more vehicles, and there are plannings for the further expansions also, which we will be telling you as and when the plants are set up. So 2 plants presently are working, and we are hoping to start few more plants. Much depends upon the Government of India scrapping policy, vehicle scrapping policy also. So we'll be waiting for that also, will be waited by us for basically putting much investments in the venture. With that, I'll conclude my opening remarks. I'll leave more time for the question answer session, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask any question may press star and one on their touch-tone telephone. If you remove yourself from the question queue, you may please press star and two. Participants are requested to use handset while asking a question. To ask a question, please press star and one. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. We have a first question from the line of Dikshit Doshi from Whitestone Financial. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, sir. Firstly, one small clarification. So we were targeting to do no more business from our marketing division from August onwards. So from Q3 onwards, there will be no revenue from trading business. Is this right?
No. You see, if you see the marketing H1 last year and H1 current year, there is a down of 82%. Right. So now we are not entering into any fresh agreement for the marketing. So, but our older commitments were there. They will continue for the current year also, and could be small portion of it goes to the next financial year also in the associate model. But that is these are the transactions which are basically totally safe transaction, either backed by under 10% BG. Or in the associate model, there is no risk as such, which was in the cash and carry model. So cash and carry is totally stopped. So 110% BG and associate model, some spillover will be in the 2 quarters of the current financial year, and could be some spillover in the next financial year also, where the obligations in the long-term contracts, some obligations take time for the supplies to be complied and the payments to be received. So that will be there, but that business, that will be again decreasing, and also that is a basically safe business model, and we don't perceive any basically risk as far as those models are concerned.
Okay, so it's just that whatever long-term agreement we have, we are going to execute till mid of next year, and no new orders we are doing.
Exactly, bilkul, fine.
Okay. Secondly, sir, in this presentation you have mentioned that this is for the first time we have done the selling of seeds for Chhattisgarh government. So one thing is how this can be scalable for other states also, and related to that, after the farm bill, can we say that the opportunity in the agri sector is far more bigger, because now the farmers can sell to anyone?
Exactly, bilkul. We see a lot of opportunities in the agri sector, and we are getting queries also for all kinds of agri products. And this we have e-Rakam and all these portals are working satisfactorily, and we are doing good business with NAFED in conversation with the CCIs and other rubber boards and all those organizations where we are trying to get the business. Apart from that, we have that for the agricultural ministry. So there also, basically the main issue are the logistics. So we have already we are tying up for the market facilitators. Initially, we were not getting good scope, but with this new books coming up, so people are very hopeful, and we are hoping to rope in some market facilitator who will be a basically bridge between sellers and buyers, and who will be using the MSTC app for selling the agri products. This is slightly difficult business. I mean, the margins are not that large, and it is a basically new field for MSTC. So we are seeing basically revenues not in the very near term, but medium term on the long term. We feel there is large potential, but that has to be properly nurtured.
Okay.
Fine.
Yes, sir. Thirdly, sir, in terms of private players, so obviously we are still predominantly doing for PSUs or a state government. But in last 1 year, we have done many tie-ups with the private players also. So how you are doing, how you are seeing the traction from private players and how big that opportunity can be?
You see, our focus is not, because most of the time we have been doing business with the government. When we do business, the governments, there are certain kind of checks and balances and certain, I'll say, kind of comfort with us. So when we enter into a deal with private concerns, so we make sure that it's a well-known entity, right, and has got good market reputation. There have been a few instances where we have tied up with the private party and they do the rate discovery on our portal and they then do the business directly with the people. So we want to avoid that kind of scenario, that we provide the services but we don't get any service charge. So there we move cautiously. But we are getting few queries on that also, and we'll be focusing more, but main focus will definitely remain towards the government sector, but we'll try to expand our footprint in the private sector also.
Okay. And sir, in terms of our balance sheet, so one question was related to if I see your FY20 annual report, there is in other financial liabilities, there is too big amount of security deposits, EMD, 454 crore, and a deposit from customer, 111 crore. So if you can just break this up in terms of how much of this is related to our trading business and how much of this is related to our e-commerce business.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I think you are referring the figures as on 31st March, isn't it, or current?
Yeah, this was for 31st March because currently in September I don't have the breakup. I just have the other financial liability number.
Then basically, if you can remember that while there was a similar question at that particular point of time, and we clearly replied that it is basically a commingled sum. Because we take the security deposit and these deposits basically from the customers from this e-commerce segment as well as from the marketing segment. It is a basically commingled sum. There is no, as such in the balance sheet, there is no segregation per se about this, that how much it is there in the e-commerce and how much this is for the trading. It's basically a commingled sum that is appearing in our financial statement. So we take deposits in both the segments.
Okay. And on a standalone standalone balance sheet, can you just give the receivables breakup?
This receivables, what we can say that in the standalone we have now reduced from 4-digit to 3-digit. As we have promised earlier in our con calls also. So we are on that on the reduction mode in this marketing business and gradually shifting towards this e-commerce segment. So basically, if we can say now it is around 920 crores and odd that is appearing in our standalone balance sheet. So out of it, around 70 to 80 crores is for e-commerce and balance is for the trading business. And out of that only, that's we already our CMD sir was already explaining that the majority of that marketing trade receivable belongs to the safe business that is backed by 110% BC and this associate business. only 100 plus something odd is left out in that risky cash and carry business, that we are trying to put it down, and it will be hopeful that it will be gradually going down.
Okay, and just one last question. So, and in terms of short-term borrowing, it's now showing only 150 crore. So I assume that majority of this is Standard Chartered loan. So as and when that will be settled, we have to pay or not pay, and other rest of the loans we have already paid.
Yeah, absolutely right. The majority of this is of the Standard Chartered loan that we have provided for, and it is sub judice, and the maturity of it depends upon the outcome of the court verdict, for which we are fighting at various forums.
Okay. Thank you, sir. That's it from my side.
Thank you very much. A reminder to the participant, to ask a question, please press star and 1. We have a next question from the line of Srinivas Reddy, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good evening.
Yeah. Thanks for the opportunity. And regarding the last time when we spoke regarding these provisions, you were telling some 160 crores you were expecting. Now, what is the latest quarter thing which you are expecting for that amount of provisions for the total? This quarter, I think you have provided only 5 crores, some sort of 5 crores around. So that is the thing.
Yeah, Mr. Reddy, let me tell you that we have got now a provisioning policy by which we are now providing this on this only for this basically for this cash and carry model in a staggered manner as and when it is required, although whether required or not, but it is doing in a very staggered manner. So every quarter we are putting some amount as a provision so that it does not hit in a particular as a policy matter in a particular quarter. So so as already disclosed and you have mentioned, it is now around 113-14 crores an odd left in our balance sheet. So as it is realized and fizzled out through provision, so almost a small amount of provisions will be there for this amount only, basically this amount only. And for others, in the 110% basis, no provision is required. For associate model, no provision is required. For e-commerce, very minuscule provisions are required. It is very, very minuscule as compared to the total business.
Yeah, my other question is regarding these amounts of earlier bad debts and recovery cases. Is there any positive news on those things? I mean, you are expecting, or how much time more it might take?
Yeah, so far that we have written off in the earlier books of accounts, there is nothing substantial to report to our shareholders. So we are trying and having a fierce battle to legal battles to recover the same. So as of now, there is no substantial recovery. Whatever recovery was there in the last year, in which we have already disclosed in the last year's balance sheet, that's it. That's the last one that we have recovered.
Okay, last question, sir. Regarding this FSL, your subsidiary, Ferroscrap Nigam Limited, FSNL, disinvestment or divestment sort of news. Is there any base price, or what is the mode in which, I mean, you are expecting it to auction base price? Is there any, if it is there, can you let us know?
Yeah, the basic thing premises is like that, it is being handled by the Government of India, DPAM, Department of Investment and Public Asset Management. So right now they have advertised for the post of transaction advisor, asset valuer, and the legal advisor. So once these three main key personnel are discovered through open tender, then only the Government of India will sit and have their valuations and everything, and only then the things will be decided and the process will get started. So nothing so far is there in the MSTC's It is all decisions being taken by the government of India only.
Okay. And you have no idea of internal expectation of your own?
No. Basically, it is a system-driven thing. There is no question of ideas on all these things. That there is a scientific process. So until unless there is a transaction advisor there, asset valuers are there, they will do the valuation as per scientific and approved norms of the DIPAM and the present accounting norms. Then only DIPAM will take that call as per the exact procedures of Government of India.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone who wishes to ask any question may please press star and 1. We have a next question from the line of Rushabh Shah from Equirus Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, sir. Congratulate on a strong set of earnings for the last quarter.
Thank you.
So, yeah, sir. So I think my first question will be in terms of trading business. Now, this quarter, obviously, we saw a little bit higher volumes compared to, I think, last 2 quarters. So can you just give a brief color, or maybe can you quantify how much of contractual commitment we still have over these next second half of this year and maybe over the initial quarters of FY22? Just maybe in terms of slight color or quantity, how much of that business could be equivalent to 2Q or maybe higher than that?
You are talking about the volumes?
No, sir. Basically the trading business that I think this quarter it was overall the revenue from trading business was higher on a sequential over the last 2 quarters.
No. You see, revenues are going down in the trading. Whatever trading you are looking at in the segmental reporting, basically this is the outstanding because we report interest from the customer in the other operating revenue. So it is on that front only. We have got certain outstandings and we have earned little bit of interest. So far, the revenue from the main operations are concerned. In the trading, we have done not better as compared to other quarters. And so far, e-commerce is concerned. Of course, e-commerce has done very good. It has shown a very good show. Overall good show this quarter in all of our segments like scrap sale, e-sale. In all the quarters we have done well.
Yes.
So far we have done well, and it all depends how this quarter we do because things are going and things have now little bit picked up as we can see from our August and September trends.
Great, sir. So just wanted to get a clarity on that marketing segment. Now, are we entering any new agreements or that has been completely stopped and it's just that old agreements with what we are now doing the business?
Categorically, in his opening remark, our CMD sir has categorically told that we are now only servicing our old commitments. No fresh or new agreement has been entered into. Only, again repeating, the old commitments has been carried out. Till that is completed, little bit of transactions will be there.
Perfect, sir. And just a bit of color on e-commerce. So I think last quarter you gave a broad guidance that maybe 2Q and 3Q performance will be largely in line with what we did in the previous year, same quarters. So maybe we can expect that now 3Q and 4Q will be a bit better than what we did last year.
So it is very difficult, Mr. Shah. It will be very difficult to even tell right now. But the trends as it suggests that we have done pretty better in August and September. So trends are there. So let us see when we will meet in the month of February to late January and February to explain you the things. But things generally, it's the general trend that we do better in the last quarters. Generally it happens because March is always a good month for us. It is a general perception and trend in our business.
Great, sir. And just wanted to get a brief on how that whole scrap business is doing, because I think we have even this time given a note about that whole government of Daman and those also. How have things been picking up at the scrap business?
I think CMD sir will be explaining it in a better way.
If you see comparison of standalone financials for H1, this we are down in various sectors, but scrap sector we are basically down by around 13%. As compared to 741 crore, we were 643 crore in the millions in the current second quarter. And if we see, if we see compare from the first quarter was almost washed out because there was no business activity. So majority of this earning is in the basically in the second quarter only. There are two things. In scrap, we are having the maximum basically service charges. E-sale, the service charges depend upon product to product, model to model. But in the scrap, we are having the good amount of service charges. It may vary from 1.5% to even, in very rare cases up to 5% or even 10% also, depending upon the volume a principal is ready to offer us. So for good volume, we are getting lesser percentage, but our incomes are large. So it depends upon the quantities as well as the rates in the market. The last year was not very good as far as the steel rates are concerned, but the current, especially the second quarter, the steel rates as well as the scrap rates have been much better. So this is resulting into better revenues for service charge, specifically in the scrap field. So here we are very hopeful that, and as the economy is going up, the automobile sale is picking up, the steel sector is doing very good, the cement sector is doing very good, construction activities have picked up. So we are hopeful that these trends will continue. But again, these are the trends only. What will happen after the festival season is still not very clear. So much will depend upon how the situations emerge. But as the things stand today, scrap we are hoping to do better, and we are trying to enter more agreements. Like there was one question about how we deal with our focus on the private. So this OIDC Daman, we have done one contract through their public sector company, but there we are basically selling the scrap of the private people only for the industries like Dabur and many other good names also. So there we have entered more than 150 agreements with all sorts of private players. So there that model we are still watching, and will be making efforts to do such similar kind of agreement with other state public sectors, so that basically the industrial zones or the such kinds of zones, there the scrap can be harnessed. This helps not only the revenues for us, this helps the government also, because the scrap market is basically more or less the some sort of the taxes are, these are basically, I'll say, it's basically cash kind of transactions are very prevalent. So all these transactions come into the e-businesses, and the whatever taxes are required, those are paid to the government, and we also earn a bit on it. Apart from that, whatever hazardous materials are there, where environmental regulations are there, so we take care that those materials are sold only to the people who are registered licensed holders. So there again will be basically the small steps will be tried by the MSTC for getting better revenues from scrap sector. Thank you.
Great, sir. And just last one on the business front. So while I think we have been, adding more and more farmers under that e-Rakam, initiative which we have started. So just any update on that part? So how that has been growing, and how soon we can expect revenue? Sizable revenue, maybe whatever the value will be. How soon can we get start getting revenue from that business part?
I'll say that, you see, agri commodity is a very price-sensitive commodity, and our poor agricultural farmers are involved. So there the service charges per se are not significant for us. They are very small. So we are basically depending more upon the volumes. So I'll say that we are trying to increase the volumes, but as far as the service charges are concerned, it may take some time for get a sizable value for the MSTC, because there are you see, what happens is we are working in a competitive environment. So there are many private players also who are, although service charges of MSTCs are also low in those kind of bids, but those people are basically ready to do at lower, very small, even much smaller service charges compared to MSTC. So we are always we have to compete basically those kind of players. So that is why the service charges wise, it may not be that significant, but that will give us good name. And if this agricultural policy of the government, we are able to rope in the other kind of crops, could be with the times to come, then we can expect some better revenues. But as of now, nothing definite can be predicted.
Oh, great, sir. And I think the last question from my end will be Subrato sir. So just on the receivables part, so while I think we have brought down receivables sizably in the last 2 quarters with that whole ramp down in trading business, but are we on track of the earlier guidance that we provided for bringing down large number of receivables maybe by end of first half of FY22? So are we still positive that large number of receivables will be getting out from our balance sheet from maybe by the second quarter of FY22?
Yeah, of course, we are on that particular path only, because it's basically a simultaneous exercise. At the one hand, we are exiting the marketing business, and as a consequential effect, financial effect, these receivables are trimming down. So basically, simultaneously, they are going down, and we are consciously on that particular path. And we hope that we are on the right track, and of course, we will bring it down by next FY21-22, and a very slimmer size of trade receivables will appear in our financials.
Great. So just to follow up on those receivables part. So now I think last quarter we had some 110 to 115 odd crores of receivables from cash and carry, which are still sizable, roughly at around 100 plus odd crores you mentioned this time around. So maybe according to the policy, I think, which you are following for that whole provisioning thing, can we expect this amount maybe coming up in couple of quarters, or will there be chances of better recovery from this 100 crores amount also?
Yeah, it is actually, we are due to this COVID phenomena. We are little bit behind by at least 2 quarters, because the March quarter and the June quarter, nothing substantial happened. There was in fact, less commercial activity or minimal commercial activity. So we are expecting little bit of recovery out of that. So, that outcome, of course, we will get a trend at the end of this quarter, that is third quarter. Then only we will be in a position to predict or rather project what will be the scenario. So we are watching it in a very cautiously, their movement in this particular quarter. And this quarter is very important for us, so far this recovery is concerned, because the businesses have just now picked up, and the commercial activities are also going on in a full, almost in a full manner in the whole country that we can perceive. This basically the steel sector is also well that we can guess from this second quarter results. So let us watch this quarter, then we will be in a position to, in a better position to project these things.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, sir, and congratulate again on a better set of earnings this time around.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Anyone who wishes to ask any question may press star and one now. We have a next question from the line of Dikshit Doshi from Whitestone Financial. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity again, sir. Sir, if I see our revenue in e-commerce business, it was, let's say, around 190 to 200 crore in FY20. And 21 I am not considering because we have this COVID-related issues and we might not do that much revenue in FY21. But going forward from FY22 onwards, what kind of growth rate we can do in e-commerce business given the opportunity in private sector, agri, even the banks, NPA assets. So whatever opportunities we have from FY22 onwards on e-commerce side, what kind of growth rate we can do on annualized basis, let's say for 2-3 years?
You can see from our trend, you have rightly pointed out, let us exclude this year as an exceptional year, absolutely right.
Yeah.
Because of this COVID phenomena, it is not comparable. But you can see the past trend also. So the growth was around 10% plus growth was there. Because 150 to 160, 80, then we had crossed 200 also. Last year due to COVID, we stuck to 182. So this year the growth is also even first quarter washed out. Second quarter the growth was of course on the similar line. So opportunities are very high, but there are two very very important criteria. One, we are trying to get up volume so that the competition on our earnings like service charge that we earn is minimized, because until unless we jack up our volumes, we cannot sustain the competition. So that's the strategy that we are taking up. We are going for higher volumes, and hopefully again having a close watch. So we feel that there will be, of course, growth in this FY21-22, but only the first quarter or the last quarter of this year can give us a direction, because the market has just now stabilized. And which way it will go up, it is very difficult still now to say, because a little bit of COVID is still there. It is showing its color. So, the March, let us wait till March, and of course from the next quarter we will be able to see some kind of thing there. But of course, whatever the business growth and whatever it will be there, in MSTC, e-commerce based growth only.
Okay. Sir, one more question was related to the so what we do with the NPA assets of banks. So we do the e-auctions of the properties. In one of the advertisement in newspaper, I saw that State Bank of India had advertised for the e-auction, and there was one for registration. There was 2-3 websites mentioned. So one was obviously MSTC, but they had mentioned their own portal also, SBI's portal. So if somebody logins there, then we don't get anything?
Basically what happens is, there are two kind of things. One is the central agreement through Indian Banking Association, IBAPI. So all the banks, public sector banks, are supposed to put in their such kind of properties on IBAPI site. From there on, the properties come to MSTC site where the actual auction is there. Before this IBAPI thing came up, the banks were selling their such kind of NPA properties through various other private operators like Tender Wizard or so many other private operators. Because this is a slightly late phenomena, this agreement was entered in the fag of the last financial year, and then this COVID came. So few banks are continuing to sell their property through the other portals also, but that trend is continuously decreasing now. Now more and more properties are coming. I don't have the exact amount of the figure, but now we are getting much more properties from the banks for selling. So slowly the public sector banks will not be selling any properties to these private portal, and we are taking with the DFS, Department of Finance also, for discouraging the banks to sell their property through other means other than the MSTC to other portals except MSTC as per the agreement we have with them. So it is basically the transition phase where few banks are continuing with the old also, but eventually they all have to come through MSTC portal only. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. And sir, last question. During this quarter, we conducted the commercial coal mines auction. Was there any one-off lumpy service income in our e-commerce segment due to this?
No, these auctions, you see, there were two parts of this auction. One was the technical bid and second was the auction. Basically the business, as per the agreements with the coal ministry, we get the service charge only after the successful completion of the auction. So these auctions have been completed only yesterday. Okay. Right? So, I mean, you must have read in the newspapers.
Yeah.
It's a good success, and the state government will be sharing a revenue of around 6,670 crore every year. But our service charges will be coming in this, hopefully third quarter only. Then other mines also will be coming as we discussed with the coal ministry. So eventually, whatever the mines are come, but the business model, the agreement is that it is on the successful sale basis only. So whenever the mine is successfully sold, only that we can do the billing. So this will be done.
So in Q2 numbers, there was no impact of these coal mine auctions.
You see, these are all total e-processes, right? The total e-processes, and these were basically not depending upon the physical kind of thing. So that is why the government could initiate these auctions. So the government took steps for changing all the statutes, regulations, and do the commercial, coal mining despite a lot of resistance from many other stakeholders. But with the successful conduct and where the prices received, there was very competitive bidding, and the prices these mines have felt are much better that the government was expecting. So I hope this model will eventually give the good return to the country, and also some part of it may come to the MSTC in the form of service charges that we charge for the sale of mines. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. A reminder to the participant, to ask a question, please press star and 1. We have a next question from the line of Gulshan Patni, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Sir, you were saying that the revenue growth could be, the potential is 10%, around 10% or plus. Can't we aim for higher revenue growth going forward? Like, let's say 15 to 20%, something like that. Because the potential for MSTC is very good.
That's right. We always wish, and we will always strive to get more and more growth. But as far as prediction is concerned, we cannot predict whether it will be 10% or 15% or 20%. So that depends upon so many factors. But our efforts will always be, management efforts will always be, because as we get out of the marketing business totally, so our main focus will be on e-commerce only. So we'll be making all efforts for increasing our e-commerce business and value to shareholders.
Okay. So it's more or less dependent on GDP growth. Can I say that?
Yes. You see, we are all working in a basically very interdependent kind of things. So if the economy is doing good, if the prices are good, if the market demand is there, definitely MSTC will get some pie out of it.
Then MSTC can grow higher, correct? In that case of scenario. If economy does good.
That's right. You see, everything is interdependent.
Yeah. Okay. And sir, provision. Will there be any more provisions in this financial year or upcoming financial year?
No, you see, we have as our Director of Finance has explained, that we have formulated the provisioning policy, and as per the provisioning policy, we are basically staggering our provisions so that it doesn't affect in one go. So there will be provisions in every quarter as per the provisioning policy. So there will be, but that will not basically come like a hammer to us that very large provisions come in one quarter. So that will be progressively, whatever provisions are there, so that will be progressively spread upon 2-3 years, so that the balance sheets are okay. They are able to basically bear that kind of losses, I'll say.
Okay. So there could be some bad debt.
Yeah, there will be some. As per the provisioning policy, there will be some provisions.
Some provisions. Although mainly it's coming from marketing side, marketing segment.
Already we were during this call, we were explaining that we are still left with some old data which were there in the cash and carry segment, which were a risky and risk-prone segment. So basically, the provisions are basically mainly coming out of that segment only. So till that is totally realized or provided for, a little bit of provisions as per the policy will be there. And nevertheless, even in any business, there will, as CMD Sahib has pointed out, there is the probability of having but it will be a very, very minuscule in size and not affecting the much more bottom lines of the company in the near future. But of course, these trading data which are left out, that is of course a risk prone and will require provision as per the policy.
Okay. And what will be the tax rate going forward?
Pardon?
Tax rate.
Could not get just
tax rate going forward.
Tax rate, you have to ask our regulators only. Whatever the law of the land, whatever the tax rate they have, we will.
No, it's around actually 25% generally for the companies, around 25, 26.
Whatever as per the act, and because lot of deductions are there, lot of the balance sheet as per Companies Act and balance sheet as per the PLNL as per the income tax are different. There are certain additions and there are certain deductions per income tax act. Depreciation is totally different. So as whatever it is as per the law of the land. We have no control over that and the taxation rate.
Okay. And will you try to become debt free or something like that? Is in the works?
Yeah, it all depends upon, because as of now, we are working and we are moving.
You have 400 crores actually of cash, right, on the balance sheet right now.
Yeah. We are moving towards the e-commerce business. So which requires little lesser capital requirement. So of course, this debt requirement will be less in this e-commerce segment. As of now, what we perceive. If we diversify in the near future in the e-commerce segment also, and some kind of, then the future will tell. But as of now, the requirement is very minuscule.
Okay, so the debt will reduce or will it stay here? You have 400 crores on balance sheet, right, cash. So will you use that for reduction of debt, or it will stay there right now?
No,
looking for opportunities or something like that.
Yeah, if you can see we have got certain liabilities also. If you can see the financial assets as a cash in the balance sheet in the asset side, you can see that there are certain financial liabilities also there in the balance sheet that you can read from the balance sheet. So it is a kind of working capital cycle, and of course it keeps on how you manage your creditor. So once we can utilize our cash to reduce our creditors also, So it depends upon the situation. As we have already explained in the earlier cases also, it depends how we balance our creditors. So accordingly, much of this will depend on the creditors' repayment.
Okay. And e-commerce working, you were saying e-commerce working capital is low. So what's this working capital cycle days in e-commerce side?
Basically, basically, if you can see that from the PNL, last year PNL also, we have a overhead, basically the salary and overhead cost of around 100 crores. So that's the thing. So that's the cost with this scale. With a certain scale of operation, this will hover around 100 and 100 plus, little bit of 100 plus minus.
No, means if you grow, your e-commerce side grows.
That's the requirement.
Only 100 crores, that's the requirement. That's employee benefit and that's...
Yeah. So, you can see that this is evident from the PNL itself only.
Okay. So,
I'll what our Director of Finance has said, and in reference to your queries, manpower is our main asset as far as the e-commerce is concerned. So whatever our expenditure will be there, if we say the purely e-commerce terms only, the sizable part will be on the manpower only, right? So the manpower is doing certain transactions, doing some auctions. There we are getting certain revenues, and we are paying the salaries, right? So there the cycle is maintained. We get something, we spend something. So we don't need basically the spend on the infrastructure. The infrastructure spends are not that large. Could be we upgrade our data center, hardware, software, licensing fees. So those kind of expenditures are there, but these are not the sizable expenditure year after year. So basically whatever our earnings, we are able to pay salary from the earnings only. So as far as the debt, if we have that pure business model, remove the marketing obligations or other bad things from the balance sheet, so it will be sort of a debt-free kind of environment. But because of the some old commitments, the old marketing losses, so some debt may remain, but that eventually will be decreasing year after year. Okay.
Sure. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
As there are no further questions from the participants, I would now like to hand the conference over to the management for closing comments. Over to you, sir.
So, thank you very much for the questions. We hope that we will be able to satisfy the cause of our investors in the near future also, and wishing you happy Dussehra and happy Diwali in advance. Over to CMD, sir, for concluding remarks.
Thanks everybody for showing the interest and your encouragement will always be beneficial for us, and we get, whatever interaction we are having, we get some ideas from those interactions also, and definitely we as a team, MSTC, will be working for increasing the shareholders' value, and will make all efforts so that whatever faith you have kept imposed in the MSTC management, MSTC company, so we'll try to come out good and deliver good value for your investment. That's what I can say as a concluding remarks. Thank you. I wish everybody a happy Diwali and a prosperous New Year also, and best wishes for the festival season. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Participant, on behalf of Equirus Securities, that concludes this conference call. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.